Today in Washington. General David Petraeus, the commander of the U.S. Central Command, yesterday in the third annual conference of the Center for the New American Security in Washington, gave the distinguished audience an update on the activities of CentCom in the Middle East, and specifically Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and the Persian Gulf. In a part of his speech, Petraeus reminded the audience that around 40% of world's oil resources pass through the Strait of Hormuz. He said that for America, this emphasized the importance of having good relations with the countries in the region.
Enormous efforts in terms of building partnerships, turning bilateral arrangements slowly into multilateral arrangements. And I would note that Iran is our best recruiting officer right now because the Gulf states and others understandably are very concerned about the provocative rhetoric and actions. We'll see what happens with the elections tomorrow and what transpires after that. But the degree of partnership, the willingness and eagerness, in fact, to partner on the west side of the Gulf is at substantial levels.
Nicholas Burns, a former U.S. diplomat and the point person on Iran under former President George W. Bush, yesterday voiced cautious optimism that the presidential election in Iran may bring about change. While he would not predict the outcome of today's election, Burns said that the mass public rallies and heated televised debates between the four candidates indicate that there is a reform movement in Iran.
It is youth-driven. It's remarkable for its energy, and I don't know what's going to happen in the election tomorrow, but we should be open to the possibility of some change.
He also reacted to some critics of President Obama's diplomacy-centered approach to Iran in the media.
I would say that President Obama is countering that. I think he's effectively put Ahmadinejad on the defensive prior to this election because of our ability now to open up the vista for the possibility of negotiations.
Lieutenant General Patrick O'Reilly, the head of the Pentagon's Missile Defense Agency, told lawmakers on Capitol Hill yesterday that Iran and North Korea represent the most pronounced example of an international coalition working toward the building of ballistic missiles that could carry deadly warheads. O'Reilly also said that one could not with certainty say which one had made more progress toward the building of the missiles, but that both their abilities to fire missiles with a stable ignition and launch a second stage represents a significant step forward for both. According to a new report by the U.S. Air Force's National Air and Space Intelligence Center, Iran's ambitious ballistic missile and space launch development program could develop and test an ICBM capable of reaching the United States by 2015. These stories and more at TelevisionWashington.com.